This meeting is being recorded.
Okay, hello everyone. Walter Gordon here again, John Chryssidis and Col Normand Gagné, who I will introduce in a moment. I am going to share my screen. Hopefully, you should be seeing this. Upcoming talks. Some of you may have caught our talk with Roger Smith, a veteran of the RCAF and the U.S. Air Force, and the retired NASA chief test pilot. He spoke to us about a year and a half ago. If there are any test pilots or flight control experts on the line, Rogers is the Smith in the Neil Smith criterion for aircraft flying qualities, and he'd like to speak to us again. So that may happen in August, I'm guessing. October 14th is the 75th anniversary of the Bell X-1 breaking the sound barrier. That was made right here in the Niagara Frontier section by Bell in Niagara Falls. Dr. Richard Hallion is going to speak at a live event here in Buffalo, but hopefully we're going to figure out how to pipe that out via Zoom in a quality fashion. And of course, Dr. Hallion is one of the foremost experts in the world on the Bell X-1. At the 50th anniversary of it breaking the sound barrier, he actually spoke at the formal United States Air Force event. So we're very fortunate to hopefully get him here at the Niagara Frontier section in the fall. So far as today, rules of engagement, since there's a couple of us online and you only want to see Col Gagné, you should select single speaker during the talk, so you're not seeing John and I or our names. And submit questions via the Q&A, not via the chat. You submit them via the chat. At best, I may embarrass you. At worst, I may cut you off completely. If you would like a link to the recording of the talk or have any other questions about it, don't reply to the invitation you got from Reed Golf, because that's not us. The email of the Niagara Frontier section is nf.aiaa@gmail.com. That's where you want to send any questions or comments or requests for a link to the recording. And with that, as soon as I can pull up his slides, we're going to have the commander of 3 Wing in Bagotville, Col Normand Gagné. I'm not going to repeat his whole biography. You've all seen it in the flyer, but he has some outstanding qualifications. And in addition, of course, to being a combat F-15 pilot and a wing commander, he also was the F-18 demo pilot west for Canada at one point. And if he doesn't talk to that, I'm going to ask him about it in the Q&A. So let me see if I can bring up his slides now, and then we will turn it over to him. And with that, you should have your slides, sir.
There you go. Thank you very much, Mr. Gordon. So first of all, thank you for the invite. I feel very privileged to be here tonight. And looking at your upcoming lectures, I'm not sure that I'm qualified to give this presentation tonight, but we'll go. So I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Col Normand Gagné. I've been in for 40 years, so I'm almost ready for retirement. And I've been in Bagotville for 3 years. When I came here as a wing commander, it was the first time that I was posted to Bagotville. I've done some time in Germany, well, all across Canada, but flying the F-18, Germany and Cold Lake. So those are my posting for the F-18. So I'll tell you a little bit about Bagotville. You see 3 crests. So you got the base of Bagotville, which basically is taking care of people. And underneath that, I got there's 2 wing and 3 wing. I have a dual hat. I'm the base commander, but
Uh-oh.
You may want to ask him to take his video off.
Col Gagné, we don't hear you anymore. Okay, we can see you now, but your show is muted. Your Nordo.
Okay, how about that? Good.
Now, hear you great.
Okay, I lost the computer. I don't know why. So okay, good. So slide, please. All right, so that's what we're going to talk about throughout the presentation, and of course I'll entertain some question at the end, which we can go wherever you feel comfortable. Slide, please. Like any other pilot, I'd like to talk about myself a little bit. I'll sign this slider. I started my training at joined the forces in 1982, and did my pilot training in 1983 on the tutor back in Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and I never looked back. I joined right out of high school, so I was 17 years old. Did not know anything about the military actually. I went to a fair, and the people asked me what I wanted to do. I said, "Oh, I'm going to college to learn how to fly." They said, "Have you ever thought about joining the forces?" And that was in September, and in January, I was starting my training, so I didn't have time to think about it. Now, 40 years later, I'm the wing commander in Bagotville, and time went so quickly; it was unbelievable. I wouldn't change a thing if I had to do it over again. I've got accumulated about 5,000 hours of flying time and over 2,000 on the F-18. I've been posted just about to every provinces in in Canada, and but I did travel the entire country. I was lucky. I traveled. I was also posted in the States in Maxwell Air Force Base for a year. I did staff college. And I also had a tour in Germany when we were still flying F-18s way back in the early 90s, which I went into the Gulf War 1991. I had several staff tours, took me a little bit everywhere. I had deployment in Qatar a couple times, supporting Afghanistan, supporting Libya. Did the Olympics as well, not as a racer of any kind, but supported with the defense of the Olympics. So anyway, that's me in a nutshell. I've got 4 sons, and none of them are in the military. Slide, please. All right, so if you don't know where Bagotville is, if you on the map, you got Montreal on the south side of the map, and Quebec City, which is about 2.5 hours from Montreal on the east side. North of that is Quebec City. So we're in Saguenay, which is Bagotville. It's isolated place. The region is about 250,000 people. In between Quebec City and Bagotville, there's nothing. And that's where the wilderness starts. North of us, there's very few towns, and the towns are very small. So there's nothing big north of here. Slide, please. The base was built in 1942. And it was built actually to protect aluminum. Well, I don't know if you know how aluminum is made, but you need a lot of electricity to make aluminum, and we have great dams here to produce electricity. And we have a renowned, at the time it was called Alcan Aluminum Factory, which they used quite a bit during the World War, as you can imagine. And to protect it, they built a base here in Bagotville. And so it was basically built to protect the factory and the hydro station. And then from that point forward, we did some Commonwealth training, but really the history of the base started with protecting the base. that's what that slide is for. So slide, please. As mentioned, I got two wing to operational wings. The two wing mandate is basically to deploy forward to any RCAF deployment, whether it's national or international, and they go and set it up. They set up the contract, the rental, the accommodation, the meals, so that when the squadron or squadrons arrive, they're ready to operate. They also set up the command and control portion. They can command and control if it is for a short time. So the way that we operate is, let's say we do an operation, and I'll just use two examples. We go to Romania for Air Task Force on every year. We're going to go in July with the F-18. Well, the team, the two wing, is going to go approximately a month in advance, and they're going to set up everything so that when we arrive there with the F-18, it's basically a plug and play. The people have a place to stay, a place to eat, how to do your wash, your laundries, and so on and so forth. We have an ops center, a place to hang the aircraft, where to repair the aircraft, so we're ready to operate. And they do a high five when the F-18 arrive, and we start operating. The other portion domestically, for example, if there's fires or flood that we deploy, it could be helicopters, it could be Hercules, then two wings deploy and they do the same thing. And in Canada, usually they will stay and command the Air Task Force. So they all, well, most of them, 90% are Air Force people, so they're trained to command as well, Air Force assets. So that's two wing mandate. Slide, please. Three wing mandate, which again, that's one of my hat, and I have. We support domestic operation. Of course, we part of NORAD. We support domestic operation, expeditionary operation. We do have a SAR capability on base. It's been reduced lately, but we still have a SAR capability. And of course, we do have a very good relationship with the city, with the history that I gave you, where the base was built to defend the Saguenay. So our relationship is really good with the community. Slide, please. So on the base, I got three helicopters that we use for search and rescue. We do have a deployable radar, which is currently deployed in Belize, in the drug interdiction. We've deployed it domestically as well. If there's a G Summit, the Olympics, those are examples when we use a radar. We're just about to ready to change it. This is a TIPSY 70, and we're upgrading to a TIPSY 77 for anybody that is familiar with radar. And then we got the mighty F-18s. It's starting to get old, 40 years old this year. But if you've watched the news, we're in the process of upgrading our aircraft to most likely the F-35. We're just in final contract negotiation to get the F-35. So by 26, we should have a squadron operational of F-35. We do have two squadrons, wings that have fighters. We have Bagotville here and Cold Lake, and we'll see on the map. The base itself, we have approximately 1,800 employees. We operate with regular force members, reserve force members, and our civilian and contractors. So 1,800 people, not huge base, but in the region, we have a fairly good impact on the economy. Slide, please. So one of the main role that we do is NORAD. Just to give you a picture, I mentioned Cold Lake, the red circle to the west, and Bagotville, the red circle to the east. We have the country separated basically in two. Where you see Winnipeg in the center, the yellow dot. So that's where we split the country east and west. So Bagotville is responsible for the east, and Cold Lake is responsible for the west, up to and including to the northern point of Canada, which is CFB alert, as you see the dot. It's way up there. Lately, we've done some exercises because, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on, but we don't have too many airports, and to be able to operate in the north, we have started to use Thule as an airfield, so we can we're a little bit closer to the North Pole if and when required. The blue circle that you see, which says FOL, the foreign location, we got Inuvik and Iqaluit, one to the east and one to the west, again manned by Cold Lake and Bagotville accordingly. We also have bases that we can deploy to operate in case we can't operate out of Bagotville or Cold Lake, or if there is a threat that we know, we can get a little bit closer to it. So we got Greenwood in Nova Scotia, Trenton in Ontario for us, and Goose Bay in Labrador, where Cold Lake has Comox on the west coast and Winnipeg center of Canada. So those are our basic operating location with the F-18. Slide, please. Domestic operation, I give you some example, G20, G8, the Vancouver Olympic, when the three amigos met in 2016, we do saw our mission, and of course I mentioned the floods way back when the Saguenay, we had the flood in 1996 where we helped. So those are the roles that we're doing with the domestically, is either with the radar, the F-18, or a helicopter. Slide, please. Expeditionary, those are the most recent deployment that we've done, most of them with the F-18. But if you see Up Jaguar in Jamaica, that was with the helicopter, where we went and helped train Jamaican on the helicopter. And when you see Up Elimination in 2020 in Iceland, that was with the radar. And again, I talked to you about the Up Carib in Belize. Again, that's with the radar. So we do deploy on a regular basis with our forces. We flip-flop a little bit with Cold Lake. So these deployments that you see here, they were either combined. If, for example, Libya in 2011, we flip-flop with, we would do 4 or 5 months of one base, and then the other base would take over. And that's how we do the rotation with the fighters. Slide, please. As I told you, we're a significant factor in the region. We're the third largest employer in the region, and we're an employer of choice. Of course, our input is $212 million a year, and the GDP is 4.4 for the region. We do have a good air show. And slide. The last air show that we had due to COVID, we had to skip one last year. But the last air show, we hosted 143 visitors during the weekend. We had to close our door on Saturday because ramp was full at about 90,000 people. So we're very proud of our air show. It's something that I told you that the population in the region was about 250,000. So you can tell that our relationship with the community is very, very important. We're also, as far as we know, and we've been to Europe to give a briefing, but we're 100% eco-responsible. We're a carbon neutral air show. So basically everything that we burn during the weekend, we make sure that on the environment, we do that mostly by planting trees, that we replace the pollution that we put in with other things. And of course, we were also recycling everything that you can talk about. You can think about. We had different bins for different things, so it's something that we're very proud of. We're certified as by the environment. We have we have a provincial and national certification for environment. So it's something that we're proud that during the ICAS, we had the Pinnacle Award actually in 2019. So something that we will continue to do as we start in regular air shows. Slide, please. So operating in the north, I've talked to you about our deployed operation, Trenton and Greenwood in blues down south. So if we have a threat coming, either if we know that we're going to have a threat around Toronto, we're probably going to deploy to Trenton. And if we have a threat that is going to come from Europe, it would either be in the Goose Bay, because depending on the flat path, or Greenwood, which we would help us intercept, get us closer to the coast. A few years back, there's also the Russian aircraft that went to Venezuela, and then we had to deploy to Greenwood, which gave us a little bit closer intercept. So those bases are there for us to use. We also go to up north where you see CYFB, formerly known as Frobisher Bay, now it's a Callowet. We operate at the FOL. We have hangars there, and we deploy arrestor gears and everything else when we deploy to Frobisher Bay to make sure that we can cover the north a little bit better as our not so friendly people come and visit us. We also been operating out of Thule in Greenland, and that allows us to be operating in Alert, which is our most northern airfield. We cannot land in Alert because of the runway condition. We cannot land with our F-18, but transport aircraft go there on a regular basis. And it's a base for telecommunication, as you probably can guess. And we have approximately 80 people to support basically a half a dozen people who do the work. The rest, it's maintaining the base and communication and so on and so forth. Everything is flown in. Talking about the fuel for generators, food, you name it, everything is flown in. So we cannot fly all year round because of the weight. If it's in the spring, in the thaw, so you have to be careful when you go there. But we do support on a regular basis. Slide, please. So that's gave you a perspective. I know it's in nautical miles. I just realized I probably should have put it in miles, but the kilometer is a 1.6. If you divide by 1.6, it'll give you the distance. So 3,800 kilometers. We're talking about near 2,000 miles, just as a reference. So if you go east to west, because I told you we were responsible for half of Canada, so we're probably 1,500 miles of coverage. And if you go north to south, we're roughly 2,500 miles to cover the territory. So it is a big terrain to cover. If we do have to intercept to the North Pole, it's 3,800 kilometers, so 2,000 miles away from home, from Bagotville. So it is a long way up there. If you think about when we get warning that our enemies may fly, because that's the shortest route from Russia to the US is through the northern flanks, northern pole. So it's a long way for us to go and intercept. We also share that responsibility, the northern responsibility, with Alaska. And so we have CONAR, ANAR, and CANAR to respond for NORAD. We share information. We share. We fly together. We share aircraft. So, for example, we do have a standby aircraft for us that is based in the U.S. for air-to-air refueling. So we share asset because it's a common defense. As far as the F-18 is concerned, just very quick data. We fly a little bit faster than airline, but really it's airline speed. An airline will fly, 0.78, 0.80 Mach. We'll cruise at probably 0.9 because we do have to fly with the heavy configuration for fuel tank because of the ranges that we're talking about. So because of that, the fuel, we could go faster, but it's just you burn your gas faster. So you can't go as far. And that's what it says on the bottom. So our range for one tank of gas, we're probably looking at without air-to-air fueling, 1,000 miles. It's roughly the number we use, depending on the winds, so on and so forth. Those are the ranges that we're talking about. So if you're looking at that, it tells you that you can't go very far without air-to-air refueling. So yes, Mr. Gordon, air mobility is a big helper. Slide. The threat, depending NORAD mission, we have two threats. Of course, we have the NORAD conventional threat, if I may call it that way. Before 9/11, the national threat wasn't as big. So the threat from the North Pole, intercepting mostly the bears, and these days we also have fighter aircraft that flies up north. So this is a normal practice for us. We intercept the aircraft depending on the year, depending on how Russia is doing. When they show up, we tend to show up as well and show them that it is our land and we're protecting it. And again, as I said, we do that with Alaska. So several times, depending how the aircraft come, we intercept first, and then we pass it on to the Alaska air crew, or vice versa. So depending how the Russian come over. Asymmetric threat, which is since 9/11, we put a focus on the domestic portion of it. So we do launch a little bit more often actually on this one. If somebody is not squawking right, if somebody is not has a comm failure, you can imagine high flyers, low flyers, it doesn't matter. We respond to all the threats. So with the F-18, we can fly quite slow. Actually, it's one of the benefits of the F-18 is that you can decrease the speed to a fairly safe low speed, and we can keep up with several small aircraft at low altitude. So that's one good thing that we have going with the F-18. So we have a vital point that we're protecting on that mission. So the standard protection for that we do, that's the same thing as the US does. Slide. So it is an all hands on deck for the base. It is our primary role. So not only do we have to support here from the base, but we have to be ready to support from our other bases that I mentioned. So if there is, if we go to Goose Bay, if we go to Iqaluit, or if we go to Thule, we have to deploy our people to be able to operate out of there. So it's when we deploy, when it's time to go, we do have air transport that come and get the proper equipment, people and equipment, and we deploy. And then once you get there, then you got a place to work out of. Those places are kept warm. So we do have people that take care of them. So, but as far as the ground crew, the maintainers, and so on and so forth, we do have to deploy those people, so that we have to deploy cooks, we have to deploy the maintainers, the SNCC driver, the equipment is there. So the fire truck is already deployed. So we just have to start it, make sure everything works. And as I said, there's somebody that keeps the place warm. We do have here in Bagotville a 24/7 watch, which because we do a crew rotation, it keeps the base about a quarter of the base busy, because you understand we do have we live in Canada, and it seems like Bagotville is the place where they make snow. Just to give you a reference, how much snow we had, not here on base exactly, but not far from here, half-hour drive from here, there was 27 feet of snow accumulated during the winter. So we have a lot of snow. So in the winter, the machines are running, they're plowing snow just about 24/7. It is that type of operation. In the spring and the fall, there's also a lot of ice. So we and of course, because we're 24/7, we have to maintain the runways open. We have to maintain the runways in an operative condition. So during icy periods, which is the spring and fall, people are also working pretty hard. So it is a busy operation. If you've been on a wing, you understand that that 1,800 people is what we need to operate the small footprint of the 30 fighters, the 3 aircraft, and the radar. Slide, please. Scramble time, I can't talk about how many minutes it is going to take us to get airborne because it's classified, but let's just say that we always go as fast as possible, but it doesn't take us very long to get airborne. We do have proper communication with NORAD headquarters. We do have a headquarters in North Bay, which control us. They're connected to EAS and WADS in the States, which are the East and West Coast radar. So all the communication for NORAD we share with the States on everything we do. Our headquarters, which is in, so the tactical headquarters is in North Bay. The operational headquarters for the NORAD is in Winnipeg, and that's where the commander is. And of course, if there is an operation, through the communication, we talk to Winnipeg. In turn, talks to NORAD headquarters in Colorado Springs, and we also connect to Ottawa, so that we can get the communication going with the right authorities if we have to shoot down aircraft. I was just going to talk about I'll see the safety equipment a little bit. If we do have to scramble, if we scramble in the winter, not only do we have to put our G-suit on and harness, but we do have to put basically a skidoo suit on, so an extra layer of clothing. You put big ski pants on top of your equipment in case you eject, and a fairly heavy jacket. If you're going to fly over water, then we have emergency suit that we have to don as well. So it is a lot of equipment to fly. And if you fly north in the winter, most days that we go flying, we do have to do the winter gear. And if we fly over water, if if we don't know where we're going, we do have the gear on board in case we have to stop somewhere, and then we would put it on in case we have to eject. Our tick consideration, there's not much in, we have what we have with the aircraft, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Talked about most of the communication, and if the weather becomes an issue, or the air crew is crew day, so on and so forth, then we can change the type of response that we have. We have the normal, we have mandatory scramble, or we have prohibitive scramble. So mandatory scramble is only when it's serious, so no exercises, and prohibitive, it needs to be an emergency for us to scramble. Slide, please. Intercept, we call it a target of interest. It's basically through the communication. We do have large land to cover, so the communication is a challenge. We actually have, on top of throughout Canada, having repeater station, we do carry on aircraft, on the pod, we do carry, have a satellite radio that we can that we have to use just about every time we do a mission, so that we can talk to people, because although we have strategically positioned station, it's not always possible. The radar on the map, we do have the DEW line, which is a radar line that we have to protect the north. But as you can tell, it's restricted because it's a radar. We do not have the latest sensors yet. It's something that we're working on to be able to protect the country a little bit better and have more warning time for people who are coming from the north. Sensor of the aircraft, we do have our normal radar. We have the sniper. The sniper pod is infrared, and then of course let's not forget the old radar. Yeah, that's all I want to talk about that. I think that the major thing is communication is a challenge. With if you go to a near busy center, Montreal, Toronto, not too much of a problem. If you go the other way, it becomes a problem. Slide, please. So the mission itself, we try to come home because that's where we live. But we're ready to divert anywhere where the F-18 can land, and we can do our own maintenance on an armed jet, make sure that we keep it safe. But when we come back from a mission, because it's NORAD, we have to be back on state in a certain time. So there's never time to be to lose. If for some odd reason we cannot make it on time, it has to be reported. So we have a certain period. If it's not that, we tell our headquarters when we anticipate being back on state, and then once we're back on state, and if we cannot make our time, it's called a deviation, and all deviation are briefed up to our chief of defense staff level. So we take the mission very seriously. We do at the home base. We do have spare jets, so we can jump in the spare and try to make our time. Of course, if you're away, then you have what you have, and you deal with what you have. And if you have more questions about that, I can answer that at the end. Slide, please. Just an example, when we transit up north, and we're going to transit now to the. This is why we discuss the presentation is to work up north. And just to show you, we did an exercise last March, and that was an indication of ice cover. You got snow cover by the time you leave Bagotville, and then ice cover. So everywhere we're going to go up north will be white with snow. It'll be ice covered, and that was in March. It stays ice covered to probably May is a good time, and then you still will have some snow, and I'm not sure if I'd rather eject on ice or open water when you get to that those type of waters, northern waters. It'll be cold, it'll be miserable, and it's a survival, right? Now imagine being eject up north, anywhere up north, north of the Bay James, and go, okay, so how long will it take for Hercules to get there? Because our mission set, if we go flying, if it's not forecast, will be based same place as we operate the F-18 normally, Greenwood, Trenton. If we know if it's an exercise or not operation that we know we're going to deploy up north, then we will deploy the SAR asset a little bit closer in case something happened. But it's still going to take hours, and they will be lucky to get to us if the weather cooperates, because the weather up north is very well, for people who operated there. Somebody told me once, he goes, I can tell you anything you want to know. He said, I can take a map from 1960 and give it to you. It'll be as good as today's forecast, because it changes very rapidly. So the weather up north is, the forecast is very difficult. How did the guy put it? He says, I said, what's the actual? He says, what you see is what you get. And I said, well, how about the forecast? Well, you have to wait and see. So that was an actual weather guy talking to me about the weather up north. So the weather was nice. What I saw was nice, so I went flying. Slide, please. We do have to operate up north. We do special training so that if we're lucky enough if we're unlucky and have to eject, we're lucky and lucky enough to land on land to help us survive. Is we know how to build an igloo and live in it for a few days, snow cave, and use the equipment that we have to survive. And it is a survival. You cannot build fires because there's no wood. All you have is snow, and hopefully you can get a tool to be able to build yourself with the snow. And the snow, for people who've never operated up north, the snow is so cold. The snow turns like styrofoam, and you can walk on it. You do not need snowshoes to walk on it. You can walk just about anywhere, and with that you create blocks and build yourself an igloo. In the igloo itself, you want to probably, to keep yourself warm, you use a candle. That's about the extent that you want, because you don't want it to ice up. So you want to maintain it just below the freezing level. Why? Because the snow is a better insulation than the ice. As soon as the ice up, you're gonna become colder. So you keep it to just below freezing level, a couple of degrees below freezing level, and you got snow to protect yourself. And you can become quite comfortable. You build yourself an igloo. If you gave me about 40-45 minutes, I should have an igloo built and being able to survive for a few days. I did mention air-to-air fueling. You do not operate up north without air-to-air fueling. It is a must because, first of all, there's not that many airfield, and if there are airfields, we cannot operate it from it with the F-18 because they're too short, or they're gravel, and we do not operate out of gravel strips. So, for example, when we operate out of Thule, the nearest divert airfield for us is 850 nautical miles away. So that's a full tank of fuel. So when we start the approach, we're too heavy to land with the fuel that we have to carry. to be able to divert to have enough fuel to divert to the next airfield. So when we operate, we actually have to have the air-to-air refueling over top of the airfield, and we use that as our alternate fuel to be able to make it to destination in case we can't land in Thule. As well, because it's most of those are single runway operation, and being a fighter is all kind of problem. If we lose our number 2 engine, we lose all hydraulic, we lose normal braking. We have to land with a little bit more gas because of a little bit of spare, so we can climb up and go air-to-air refuel. And of course, when things goes bad, you're probably not going to hit the basket on the first time, so you need a little bit more gas. So we land a little bit heavy, no braking. You understand all the stuff. So we do rig up a cable to be able to land and land safely, losing the cable if we lose a number 2 engine or a normal hydraulic system. Slide, please.
Just before we go to the next slide, can
Yep.
you explain what we're seeing in the lower left here? It doesn't look like ops normal at the next to your hook.
Okay, so yes, it is. Yeah, so this one, it should have been ops normal, but my hook didn't want to come up. So what you see is the cable that is rigged. I landed as a practice engagement. It's just that the hook didn't want to come up. And so I had to shut down on the runway, and I thought we have to put the hook manually. So put your shoulder behind it and hook it up. And I thought I'd take a picture just because you don't have that many opportunity to stop the aircraft and go back and look. So the black thing that you see is actually on the ground is actually the cable, which is and the black things that you see around the cable, we call them the pucks. They're basically like a puck, a hockey puck, but a little bit bigger with a hole in it, and it keeps the cable a couple inches above the runway, so that when you go above with the hook hooks up the cable, and here you go, you're stopped in no time.
Okay. Thank you.
Hey, no problem. And I don't know if we skipped. We had another slide with. Okay, before that it was the one before. It was a landscape. Okay, so
Could it have been hidden?
Maybe it's a hidden slide. So if you want to get out of it and come back, it's probably worth, the pictures are worth 1,000 words.
Yeah.
And I think that no, next slide. No, you don't have it. I'm really sorry about that. It was a picture of a landscape of the up north, which you can imagine. It's white, and it's not necessarily flat, so there's rolling terrain, but it's all white and it's all snow. There's no trees. It's basically desert, but with the snow-covered desert. So it's a very hostile environment if anything happened. Of course, we have the polar bear. When we do operate up north, we do carry a 9mm pistol. And if, as far as I'm concerned, it's not for the polar bear, it would be for to minimize the suffering. If I was going to be attacked by a polar bear, or if I saw a polar bear coming too close, I probably would make his job a little bit easier, and use it on myself so that I don't suffer too much. But all that to say that the northern operation is by far the most challenging operation that we do with a fighter aircraft. It doesn't matter what we do, where else we go. It is our home within Canada, and it is so challenging. You got to imagine if you go. The other picture that I had was with NVGs. If you deploy from November, I'd say end of October to mid-March. That period, you don't have much daylight, and you may have in November, a little bit in March, you will have a couple hours of daylight, but you're operating you're operating in the cold, probably windy. And when I say cold, it's very cold. There's not that many hangars, so if we deploy air-to-air refueling, large asset, they're going to be outside. We tried to last exercise in Thule, we tried to change a basket on the 135. You can change the boom, you can put a basket to it. They tried to do that outside, and they discovered that at minus 25 Fahrenheit, it doesn't work out well. So it's just too cold. You can't warm yourself up, and the gas. Actually, for a while, it was too cold to air refuel. You get limits. Some of the aircraft have limit to refuel, and even in the low 20,000 feet, it was too cold to do the refueling at colder than minus 50, 55 degrees. So you do need NVGs to operate. Would preferably NVGs. And in the summer, you got the opposite, right? You don't have any. At this time of year, there's no darkness. It's the daylight 24/7. So then you got the other problem of being able to sleep. But it is what it is. In the winter, you also have beautiful northern lights when you go that far north. It's just amazing. Beautiful colors. The way that they move around, it is very pretty to operate up north. But when you look down, you do not want to you do not want to even think about ejecting. Back in the early 90s, we had Hercules that crashed about 8 miles from Alert, and it took days to go and rescue them. They were survivors, and some of them did not make it due to frostbite. But it took that long. You think about it, 8 miles away, and it took days to get there. It's just to show you how harsh the terrain and the climate is up north. So when you're starting to operate in the middle of nowhere, I showed you the distances. Having the Herc show over top is one thing. To be able to be rescued with a helicopter is a different thing, because you need refueling. You may have to go to fuel caches. Your range is limited. Then you got the weather to deal with. Hopefully you won't be hurt, because if you're hurt on top of it, you will not have much energy to be able to survive. Because you're going to be, you have to survive. You don't have much food. You have the food that you have in your backpack, in your seat pack, sorry, which is jujubes and a little bit of things that you can mix in the water and make yourself a hot chocolate. But that's it. You can't fish, because if you're on the ice, it's so deep, you won't be able to do anything. You can't hunt because there's no animals to hunt, and you don't have too much. You don't have, even if you get a snare, what are you going to snare? There are some big jackrabbit, and they're basically the size of dogs. If people have seen them, you go, okay, I know what he's talking about, and you can, if you can share some experiences, I would appreciate it as well. There is silver fox, which of course that's not eatable, and they will not come and bother us. And our biggest threat would be the polar bear. Hopefully they will not come and see us, because we can't defend against a polar bear, and we'd have we really have nothing to defend against it. So in a nutshell, I think I'll leave it at that, just to tell you that it is the most harsh environment to work in, either as a flyer, even if you don't have to stop there. You do need air-to-air refueling, and if you go to the base, you may actually need asset on top of the base as you're landing to make sure you have a divert if you divert somewhere. So you're basically combining the challenges of going across the pond, even if you're overland. If anything happened, the nearest airfield is almost 1,000 miles away, and you don't have the fuel to be able to operate autonomously. So if the air-to-air refueler breaks, it's an emergency for us. If you eject, we don't want to eject. We don't even want to think about it, because it's very challenging. And if you break, it's going to be challenging, because you need to bring parts. If we don't have parts up north, they're not pre-positioned. It will take a while, just because it's the distances. You saw where they are. I mean, you might as well being in Europe, being in our own country, way far north. Well, I'll leave it at that, and I think I'll be answering question, and I'll take question anything things that I covered, that I didn't cover, or something that you want me to expand on. I'm here to answer questions.
Okay. We have a couple relating to the kind of the two things you concluded with. So the northern ops, especially in places, you mentioned Thule, you mentioned Frobisher, as F-18 bed down locations, it sounds like. Can that be done year round, or in January and February, is it simply you don't even try it?
Well, those are bases that we can operate all year round. Of course, if any of you have flown up north, there's seasons are better than others just because of the weather. I'd say that the weather and snow accumulation, but that's standard, right? Definitely, the weather though will be a factor whether we can in. But as far as physically able to land on the runways, it's all year round, and most of the time to help us out, as I mentioned, we do put the arrestor gear so that if we have an emergency, we can land safely and have a safety net, if you will.
Okay. You mentioned refueling a number of times, and you talked about switching a basket on a 135 at Thule. You mentioned a U.S. tanker that was tasked to support you, if I'm not mistaken. And you also showed us a picture of a Herc. Can you just kind of discuss what refueling capability Canada has and to what extent you're supported by the U.S.?
Yep. So I'll start with your second comment about the U.S. Because it's NORAD and we're neighbors. And with all of that, we understand that being the neighbor of a superpower has advantages and disadvantages. And the fact that we're between Russia and the U.S. And U.S. being a superpower, we understand the relevance of being able to protect our sovereignty, but also if we don't protect our sovereignty, which includes the U.S.'s sovereignty, the U.S. will do it for us. So we work a very good partners with the U.S. And because we may not have enough air-to-air refueling asset, the U.S. is actually a very generous to we have an agreement for the NORAD business to have a 135 assigned to us. So we have one on the East Coast and one on the West Coast. They're permanently assigned to the Normand mission for Canada. So they are configured for us with basket because the F-18 is a proven drogue, and they're on standby for us. As far as our capability, we do have two types. We do have the Airbus that we went on a project with Germany to take it as an airliner and reconfigure it as an air-to-air refueler. So we do have those, and we also have the 130H, the older model that are air-to-air capable as well. So those are the two capability. We're in a process of getting another the Airbus 330. We should be seeing operationally in roughly 2025, 2026, where we're going to retire our current Airbus and use the 330 for air-to-air refueler. The 130 is going to go away as we retire because we do not have the stubby. The 130J, we do not have the stubby, we only have the stretch, so therefore not capable of air-to-air fueling with the stretch.
Okay. The A300 that you mentioned, are those the ones that at Trenton that are also used as transports? Are they dual role or are they separate aircraft?
They're a dual role, that's right. So well, we have two dedicated for air-to-air refueler, and then we have 5 aircraft total, and one is a VIP one, and we also have a cargo capability. So we have passengers, we have cargo, and then we have air-to-air refueler, and they're semi-interchangeable. It takes a few days to do them, but we can interchange the role that we do with them.
Okay. Well, the 330 is going to be a fantastic improvement in capability. I bet you're really looking forward to that.
Yeah, and it's like anything else, right? It is a great capability, but the problem that we have is the aircraft is so big and heavy when it's fully loaded with fuel, is that the PNB, the tire pressure on the asphalt. We have to look at it to make sure that it's compatible with the airport in Canada. So you get a new toy, but as you know, it'll be a great aircraft. However, it comes with other problems that we're going to have to deal with.
Okay. Okay, let's see what we have next. Early on, you mentioned a radar deployed in Belize, the Tipsy 70 for counter drug. Here in the US, we hear a ton about our counter drug operations in Central and South America. So this particular operation, what is it under the auspices of? Are you cooperating with anybody, or can you talk to that?
Yep, we're actually working with the US for this operation. So we don't only have the radar. We also deploy some aircraft to the 140 is one of them. The Aurora, the maritime patrol aircraft, we deploy on a regular basis down south, and sometimes some helicopters as well. So we do deploy. We work with the U.S. For the counter drug operation. So it's done under an umbrella of corporation. It's not a Canadian unique solution.
Okay. Okay, this isn't the last question, but I think it's the $64,000 question. So talk to us about the F-35. Right call, you're looking forward to it. Would you personally have preferred something else? What are your thoughts?
Okay, yeah. Like you said, the $64,000 question. You got to be careful how we answer this one, because you understand the politics around it. So let me tell you, I'll use it as although it's recorded, a privileged platform. I believe it is the right aircraft for Canada. The other aircraft were that were competing were also good. However, I will frame it so that you understand. We bought the F-18 40 years ago. So it's a long time to fly a fighter aircraft. We need to buy, and as I mentioned, we're a neighbor of a superpower. So it is advantageous for Canada. It's not mandatory, but there's some advantages of being able to share equipment with the US. So that's number one. Number two, we wanted to have an aircraft that we could fly for a long, long time. Our vision for the aircraft is 40 years. So again, the other aircraft, some of the other aircraft that were competing, some had challenges. If you look at the 40-year lifespan of an aircraft, you look at partners that you're going to be flying with, because it doesn't mean that you won't be able to fly the aircraft for 40 years. The other aircraft that were competitors probably, well, will fly. You know, anything will fly 40 years if you want to make it so. But if you do not want to lose your operational capability, your operational edge, then you got to keep investing. And if you're sole country to invest, or limited number of country to invest, then you don't gain the synergies that you have if you're part of a bigger capability, where you share upgrades, you share capabilities and operational relevancies. So is it the right aircraft? Well, that's what the assessment we did. It was a competition. That's what it came out. It came out as a winner. It's not so that you understand, we're under contract negotiation right now. So can I say that we're gonna get it 100%? No, but I can't say that yet. However, I can tell you that we're a good way to get there. So in a roundabout way, without telling you that, yes, we did make the right decision for the reason that I explained, it makes sense that we have that the F-35 is the aircraft of choice for Canada. I will not fly it, unfortunately. I had the opportunity to fly with it and against it in exercises, and I recognize that without being in the aircraft when it happened, it is a very capable aircraft. It's a different generation aircraft. If you get to the merge, something went wrong, right? It's not an aircraft that you want to do air combat with it, as far as dogfighting is concerned. Not like the F-18. F-18 was designed to somewhat to do dogfighting, like you saw in Top Gun, where the F-35 is not made. It's a different type of fight, which is fine. It is where if you want to get into a conflict, this is the type of aircraft that you want, of course. So very glad that we're heading that way. We're looking forward. We're in the preparation. Of course, when you get a new aircraft like that, I talked to you about the 330. When you get an aircraft like that, you need new infrastructure. So we're investing a whole bunch of energy and money to be able to set up the base to host the aircraft when it's ready. So yes, it's coming in 2026, and we're late to come when it comes to infrastructure. Basically, we're both Cold Lake and Bagotville are building from scratch. So we need to build new infrastructure to meet the requirement of that new aircraft.
Just a follow-up question from me personally, and don't take it the wrong way, because I agree completely. I think you made the right decision. But what are your feelings about it being single engine? with respect to your concerns of flying over the north.
Yeah, and so when we bought the F-18, single engine was a big deal, right? We're looking at the F-16 at the time, which was a runner-up with the F-8 against the F-18. But one of the big things for us was a dual engine because of where we work. If you look at the flight safety statistics, the reliability of that one engine today is actually better than a dual engine F-18. So is it better to have two engine? I cannot be here and tell you, no, it's better to have one, especially in today's age. So if you have two engine, you'll be, with today's technology, will be better. But if you're taking the dual engine F-18 or the single engine new F-35 type, statistically speaking, the F-35 is actually better. So to answer your question, it's counterintuitive that the single engine should give us a better protection than the dual engine F-18.
Okay, thank you.
So we shouldn't be worried about it. So it is something that was considered when looking at it. It was one of those criteria that we were ready to answer prior to going to competition, just to make sure that we did we have to eliminate some aircraft right off the bat, or penalize them because they were single engine aircraft.
And of course, that was a concern that the U.S. Navy faced when they selected it as well.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So CF-18 demo pilot. How were you selected? What was the training like? And what was your favorite air show?
Favorite air show, they were all good. I went to Battle Creek, Michigan, if you've been there, at the Balloon Festival, a huge air show. I think there were over 250,000 people per day on the 4th of July on top of it. So incredible. But I've been to an air show in the Rockies, a Canadian air show, Cranbrook, a small, I don't know, they may have been 10,000 people. I broke down the first jet during the first takeoff, and I did a dirty loop after takeoff, and I had a flight control issue, so I landed safely and jumped in the spare. And by the time it was a later show. By the time I went back up, it was dusk. And when I landed, the organizer of the air show came and hugged me because he had never seen an air show like that, because it was basically a sunset air show. And I judged it. I said, I'm going to try. If it's too dark, I'm going to stop it because for safety reason. But I was able to fly it safely. And of course, the air show is done in afterburner, like most of the air shows in afterburners, with the ident light flashing and the burners. I guess from the ground, it was just a spectacular air show. And so I had the two extreme to talk to you about, which is great. I remember my first air show. My family was there, so that's another fond memory of. So, just to tell you, that summer I did roughly 20-25 air shows, and every single one of them has something special, memorable that I really enjoyed. The training aspect, learning curve is pretty steep when you start your season. It probably lasted almost 3 weeks to a month, roughly, depending because you practice 2 shows, you practice a high show and a low show, which are different. You got to be ready to do both of them anytime, and they require a little bit different maneuvers with the aircraft. Definitely, flying low level, you need to get used to flying, doing maneuvers at low level. I remember the first time I flew inverted at 1,500 feet, and I did not feel comfortable. After a few weeks, you're flying at 300 feet, upside down, 500 knots above the runway, and I'm talking on the microphone like I'm talking to you. So it's something that you get used. You practice every day for initially to get used to flying, to do maneuvers. Doing a simple roll at low level. You did the dirty roll after takeoff, which is a little bit different. You don't do it on your first practice, but eventually you get to use it. And it's all about mechanics, understanding how it works, and be ready to do the right thing at the right time if something goes wrong. Of course, when you're heading towards the ground, it's all about numbers, okay? It's not, you use a sight picture a little bit, but numbers and those numbers, I look at the tapes today. Let's say that I review somebody's tape. I know if he's going to recover late or early from his maneuver or on time, just looking at the numbers. And it's been since '97 that I was flying. So it's the numbers that sticks with you, because it's your life that is on the line. When you do the square loop, when you get to a certain point, you're either waiting for the altitude or speed, whichever comes first. And when you get that threshold, that's when you pull. Either when you get to the altitude, the benchmark, or the speed, because you need to corner the aircraft. And if you go too fast, you won't be able to do the corner. You're going to overshoot. And if you pass the altitude, then even if you corner the aircraft, you're going to recover. And it's all about those numbers. So is it mechanical? Some of the maneuvers are actually very mechanical, because those are safety numbers that you have to respect. So, but I'd say after 2 weeks of practice, that's when you start feeling comfortable with the aircraft flying at different things. And if you're just pointing towards the ground is one thing. If you're doing a roll towards the ground is another thing. And let me tell you, it is not doing maneuver like it. You go over there and you're just waiting for the altitude to decrease, or the speed to build. You're not maneuvering. You're not stressed. You do the same thing, and you have to do a 180 degree roll or 360 going down. All of a sudden, the challenge is, it's not double, it's 4 times, because you're maneuvering, right? And then you stop rolling, and you go, I still have 500 feet to go and 550 knots, so I'm good. But during the roll is when your pucker factor really increases. So,
Yeah.
But it was you're operating the aircraft at its limits, all within restrictions, of course, and you're trying to make it. And let's not kid ourselves. You're making maneuvers. You're doing maneuvers so that it's appealing. It looks impressive to the crowd, right? So they're not always difficult maneuvers, and it's not tactical maneuvers that you would do necessarily, but it's maneuvers that you're doing safely, trying to maneuver for the crowd. If you remember, about now 10, 15 years ago, we had an ejection in Alberta where it's a video, because it was during a practice air show, and the pilot ejected during the high alpha pass, lost an engine, and basically used the proper engine, but ran out of rudder, and the aircraft started to roll, and needed to eject. But it's one of those things which is counterintuitive. is you have to lower the nose at
Mhm.
low altitude to be able to recover from that.
Mhm.
And of course, there's no indication the engine just failed.
Mhm.
So what's your normal, normal procedure is add power and avoid the ground by raising the nose. So you run out of rudder authorities, and then the aircraft start rolling, and so on and so forth. But those are the things that you don't want to happen, because you're going to miss the ground, but
Mhm.
not by much.
Yep.
Okay, and we do not practice those for real. We practice them in the sim. So when
Mhm.
it happens, it's the first time that you see it.
Huh. I was going to say, it's a good thing he had the presence of mind to get out and not fight it into the ground.
Yep, that is so true.
Yeah. Looks like we have just a follow-up question to, you may have answered this earlier, but I'll ask the question anyway. Is there enough room in the F-18 to put on cold water gear?
Not in the aircraft. You either put it on before you go flying, and you sweat through it, because it never. If you put either your emergency suit on to protect you against the water, which is it's a dry suit, right? It's a dry suit that you put on, so it will get hot. There's no circulation, and you can't really open it because you never know if you have to use it. And then the other one, the winter gear, you're flying with a ski suit on. It gets hot. And then you're going to ask me, well, what do you do if you have to go to the bathroom? It's a very tricky situation. So for people who don't know, the best thing that we have is basically what looks like a sick bag, but it's a rubber. It's a rubberized bag with a sponge in the middle inside it, and the dry sponge will keep the liquid from flopping once you use it. And it basically, with the opening, it's not it's kind of a funnel opening, if you can imagine, and then you just close it when you're done with it. The trick is to safe up the seat and do your harness, and try to get to your to your part, and pee in the bag. So and it's always cold when it happens, right? So it can be a challenge. So we do have female fighter pilot. For them, there's not too many options, but wearing a diaper. So, and some of the guys are also more comfortable wearing a diaper, but we do have two systems. One of them is the traditional bag, or wearing a diaper.
Yeah, I never had to wear immersion gear or cold weather gear, but I've had to fly the C-130 in full chem gear and a charcoal suit. And boy, I don't envy you with that stuff in an F-18 cockpit.
No, when I was in Germany, we used to fly with the chemical suit, and that one is the type of suit that you have to walk to the jet with your own breather, because it connects to the aircraft, and so and that was not very comfortable, and it would take in the order of 45 minutes to suit up, and when you come back, because you would simulate using it in a dirty environment, then it would be the same process in reverse, right? The disinfection, and so it was quite interesting.
One of the least fun things we do.
Yeah. But I love every minute of flying. As you know, flying is just awesome. I still fly. I'm probably the oldest Canadian active fighter pilot. I'm 58 years old, and I'm just like a kid when I go flying. I take the runway and I have a big smile on my face, because I know it's going to be good for the next hour or so. So
that's a terrific thing to hear after a 40-year career.
yeah, to be honest, I don't think I would have. I had the option to retire I was going to retire. It just this opportunity showed up, and I took the job because it was a right thing for me to finish. I knew I was going to finish my career here, and part of the deal was that I was going to be flying.
Yeah.
And that was a big check in the box. I was going to go back flying. As you know, you're a pilot yourself, so there's something about being able to climb on an aircraft and forget all the admin problems that I get on the ground go away.
We used to say they don't pay us for flying; they pay us for when we're on the ground.
Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, this was terrific. Colonel Gagné, thank you very much. It was a pleasure hearing you talk. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Well, it was sure a pleasure to, it's easy when you talk about yourself, right? When you talk about something you love and describing what you do, it's easy. Hopefully you get the gist of, I know it wasn't all about operating up north, but it gave you a perspective of what it is to operate in Canada, and it's in our own country, right? Mm-hmm. And the toughest environment to work out of is at home. Yeah. And it's not, when you go up there, it's not one aircraft. It's a suite of capability that you need to deploy. We didn't even talk about the radar that we need when we go past the radar, the dew line that was on one of the slides. If you go back to the presentation and you look at it, you need an AWACS to be able to see what's up there. So because you can't chase what you can't see, right? Mm-hmm. The big sky theory, it's too big. So on top of everything that we had, I think it was a slide number 8, which it was a blue slide which said NORAD, which indicated the basis location. That's it. So the dotted line that you see, the orange dotted line, that's our radar. Those are the radar sites that we have across Canada. So when you operate out of north of there, so you saw the distances that I showed you. It's seen and be seen, right? So if you're going to do an intercept, you almost need an AWACS, mm-hmm. But unless you know for sure that it's going to go to a specific point at a specific time. If not, you need help. You need eyes in the skies. Mm-hmm. So we're now talking. In addition to the ground station, we're talking about an AWACS, which probably need its own air-to-air refueler. We need our own air-to-air refuelers. We need our own fighters. How long we're going to be up there for? We need to trade. If we trade, then we need more air-to-air refueler to maintain us, to sustain us up there, but also to transit to a certain point. I mean, the logistics of it operating up north is huge, mm-hmm. Huge, and prepositioned SAR assets everywhere. So you name it, it's not a one aircraft deal, it's not 2 aircraft deal, it's a suite of aircraft, suite of capability that needs to operate that we need to operate up north.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Everyone.
Yep.
Yeah.
That is correct.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks again. I'll let you go. This really was terrific. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank your PA guy for me for setting it up. And best of luck. When do you retire?
I will retire in September.
Okay. Well, good luck. Safe flying until then.
All right. And thank you very much. And if you have any more questions or anything like that, you can send them through the PA, and I'll reply to them if.
Terrific. So okay. Out there, send them to novemberfox.aiaa@gmail.com, and I'll pass them along. Okay.
Sounds good.
Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.
Yep.
Good night.
Bye-bye.